So, David, do you think that the EU will join the Quad?
Oh, it's unlikely. And the reason being, well, what do we mean by this? The Quad is that the recent meeting of the United States, the recent meeting that took place between the United States, South Korea, Japan, and Australia, I believe. And it has to do with limiting China's expansion, because that's what the current administration is aiming at. So will the EU join the Quad? I don't see that happening, because if the United States is going to sanction Germany, why the rest of the European countries will think in terms of, why should we follow the United States? And the reason why they don't want to do that, they won't want to do that, the European that is because they're going to be thinking about in terms of trade with China.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to risk it. So why join the Quad? For what? Because one thing, as I learned over the years, when it comes down to international relations, context matters. And every country on earth will have to look for its own interests. The European Union is going to look for its own interests. So that's why, personally, I don't see the EU in its entirety, 27 members, joining the Quad. So it might be a country here and there, but I just don't see it happening.
And we certainly see the Chinese making a lot of inroads into Europe.
Well,
monetarily, alliances for trade. And, you know, it's really part of Chinese mentality. They have the mentality that they're unstoppable. They just keep pressing forward. You take a look at their history, and they eventually win because they're so persistent, and they've got the long-term idea of, we can overcome anything.
And that's correct, because that's what their strategy is all about. Remember, as we said in one of our shows before, one of the videos we did, that China's rise, it didn't happen overnight. That was like the planning for the last half century, if you will.
Right.
So it took time for them to move forward to be where they are today. And again, and I'm not going to shy away from saying this, the West and the United States is having a hard time accepting the rise of China. It will happen whether we like it or not. China will eventually take over the US economy and the global market.
Well, you know, there's some projection, and I don't want to go too far in with our live show.
Yeah.
That it's not going to be long before they have doubled the gross domestic product that the United States has.
Yeah. And this is why I see why, just to answer the question that we got, why the European Union will not join the Quad. I just don't see it. Economically, it won't make any sense at all.
Right.
So well, we hope we answered that question. And if you have any other or future questions, just send them on. Thanks.